What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Just a really short intro today, just off on my way out to go and see my good friend Damien. You've seen Damien on the channel before. He detailed my Audi RS3. I'll put the video somewhere here, I'll insert a clip. And he has I think it's a 1980s Mark II Jetta VW barn find. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to cover it. So yeah, let's go over and see Damien. So, it's here and it is hanging. Do you want to tell us, because my VW knowledge is terrible, do you want to tell us?
Sadly mine isn't, and the reason I have inherited this car is because I've been entrusted, now to myself because I own it, by the previous owner to bring it back to life with minimal paint, minimal trim, minimal parts repairs. Trying to source anything for these now is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just say like exactly what it is as well, like what model, what make?
Yeah,
obviously
so
it's a VW, goes without saying, but...
So yeah, 1988 Volkswagen Mark II Jetta. Obviously less common than the Golf that everybody's used to. 2 extra doors and the shape that normally everybody prefers, and an extra 4-foot boot.
Yeah, it's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah,
you don't see many of them.
It is quite a long one. They're just not very desirable. They're more so now because it's old and it exists. If it's old and it exists, they normally command some good money.
People are like banking on the fact they'll become a classic.
Exactly.
And
yeah,
everything else, aren't they?
You think what Mark 1, Mark 2 Escorts go for now, and 40, 50 years ago, people used to jump in those with the dog, 4 kids in a suitcase and go home. Would think nothing of using it every day. And the same with this, it was a usable, everyday car in a horrific colour. Manufacturers and
Yeah, it's like a denim blue almost, isn't it?
Exactly.
What is the official colour?
Well, I can't remember the name of the official colour because I haven't been in the boot yet because my Volkswagen knowledge escapes me on that. But traders and motor dealers and anyone from 1983 up until today, they call it Doom Blue.
Doom Blue.
They used to come in as a trade-in or be second-hand, and it was the colour of doom because nobody on the planet wanted a solid blue, boring as a bastard.
Oh, so it's not metallic either, it is a completely solid
single stage
colour.
Flat, dead tired, covered in grime, and it's a colour that has, the reason it's gone so flat, it's oxidised. It's attracted every bit of fallout, bird muck, fingerprints, everything. And you can see up here literally the handprints of people getting in it over the years. And it sounds literally like sandpaper. But the thing that I always have to remember, and I always spot from 10 foot away, because one, I love Volkswagens, I've got too many, and I have another one of this.
Yeah, I'll have to put a photo up on the screen of your white one, Damien's pride and joy.
Yeah, we'll do a before and after of the white one. Because the whole reason for this is I love classics, I love old cars, and I've worked on them for so long, literally since day one. So 21, 22 years in the motor trade, and the first car I worked on that was still economically viable to weld up was a Mark 4 Escort campaign. A campaign or a bonus, I can't remember. But so you always remember that one. And a lot of people see these now, and one, they go, no, it's ruined, it's trash,
Yeah, I mean, it's in quite a condition, isn't it? It's
we've got mould, we've got cobwebs.
We've got it all.
A few Boris the Spiders in there, we've got dead trim, we've got flat paint, sounds like that.
It does sound dreadful.
But from my point of view, from a professional point of view and a personal point of view, more so professionally with this one, because I haven't grown too attached to it yet, give it a few days and I might, is I like saving these while spending a minimum amount of money for the customer. Because a lot of people would just send this in for paint.
Or scrap.
Or scrap.
Or scrap.
To be fair, it would probably, 5 years ago, this would have got weighed in. Stripped the bits, all the useful bits off the front, the square headlights, which are obviously different to the Golf. The trim's actually in really good condition, we'll have a look inside in a minute. Maybe the rear lights, and they will get shipped off to the States because people like to chop and change between US and UK bits, etc. But it's what I call a survivor car. It still exists. It's a 2 family owner car. One, my mate Tom, and prior to that, the original owner, and then her husband, then the daughter, who's in her sort of mid-50s now, And then the son, who's probably even now sort of in his late 20s, early 30s, and he was the last person in that family to own it.
Well, so I mean, the whole purpose of this is to restore it, right? Like, to reform it back to its previous glory.
It's what I call light restoration. I mean, a full restoration is doors off, glass off, out, you know, full repaint, every nut and bolt on its side, underneath, engine bay out. That is a proper classic restoration. This is like a resurrection, so to speak, which, without getting too biblical, is kind of what I call them. I call them resurrection details. For the simple fact that using mainly chemicals, which are going to work very hard on this one, machine polishing, a little bit of due care and attention, stripping some bits off but not taking too much apart, because people don't like to see cars that have been blown apart and made unoriginal. Keeping the originality whilst tidying it up. Sympathetic repairs maybe, very little paint, unless...
I guess it's as much as is possible without sending it for paint and replacing everything on the car.
It off for paint and welding. That's
amazing.
I do a lot of these, and they do, last one I did, my friend Carl's E21 BMW. I'll see if Jen will pop a link in for that. That was sat for 11 years. This has only been sat for 4. So this is 4 years worth of dirt and mould.
And remind me what year it is again?
1988.
1988.
Which has the original, and this is the other thing. Well, in the boot, which most people would have thrown away, that is the original set of dealer plates.
Very nice.
Original dealer, which matches all the paperwork. So you do see old, it's going to sound a bit derogatory, but old boys love it. You get Morris Minors and News and things like that. They love a bit of original paperwork, and it does now more so than ever. That, the number plates, you can still get the dealer sticker, which I'll probably end up putting one in the back window.
Anything that's original adds to its value, doesn't it?
Adds to it. I mean, a stack of history, some original plates, and a matching window sticker and a tax disc holder is worth £1 grand.
Yeah.
All day long. That makes it a Jetta, which is the extra foot boot. We've got a completely dead boot plinth.
I was going to say this is tired, isn't it?
She is tired, bless her, but it is all there. It's complete. It's not cracked. The handle's not broken. It's got a lot of moss and mould and stuff, and where the old number plates around was. More importantly, no rot on the boot plinth, but they do like to rust because water likes to sit here. You learn that by 1, knowing old cars, and 2, having owned.
I was going to say, you've had a few.
I think 5 Mark II, 7 Mark IIIs, Polos, Passats, everything else in between. And another thing, so we'll get a good shot in there. Delicious.
The jackpot.
So that is original. So you've still got, again, things like that. So I'll clean them there, but you've got what fuel it takes. You've got the original factory tyre pressures, you've got the original factory locker cap that matches.
I put the tyre pressures in there.
Everything's in there. And that, silly little things like that people that either go to buy these or look at these at shows will be like, oh yeah, I used to open that before I went away on holiday and check the oil and check this and the other. And it brings back that nostalgia. And you're trying to keep that, which again keeps the value in the car and keeps the interest. So one, if you like to show it off, that's what you get to show off. You get to show off the originality. Plus, if you go to sell it, that's what sells it.
No, for sure.
The main part of this was a side that was obviously permanently sat in the shade, and we've got a lovely amount of moss.
That's just the sound walking around the car, isn't it?
Everything just rots. One thing to note, on every single window,
original glass, is it?
It's all original glass, next with the number plate. So again, if you were to tint the windows or replace the windows.
Oh my god, yeah. I did some B-roll of that window specifically, and I didn't even realise that was the original.
Yeah, original matching plate. So you've got the matching plate to match it. And it all starts to come together. That's when you see past the mould, you see past the cobwebs.
Potential.
The potential, literally diamond in the rough kind of thing. And with regards to restoration, I mean this, you cannot buy these anymore. You cannot buy them new. If you bought them from VW Heritage, they probably wouldn't fit. We've just had an argument with them about something else on my own car. Apparently I was wrong, shock horror, I wasn't. Just to sound like a bit of a cocky twat. I've got to be careful, but I've also got to clean them. So it's that fine line between the two. I know how much punishment that can take to clean it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there with a soft bristle hair brush, that's made out of a unicorn's tail, because it's pointless and it irritates me when you see guys doing that. That is a strong cleaner, that is a pressure washer at a 45-degree angle. As long as that door hasn't been painted, which as far as I'm concerned it hasn't, even looking at under all that mess, you are not going to take the paint off, you're not going to break the window, you're not going to destroy the trim. One on the other side has gone loose, that I've got to be careful with. This one's good. We'll watch the after for it. Let the chemical do the work, let the pressure washer do the work, keep an eye on it, and you'll be fine.
Well, and the inside is actually pretty tidy, isn't it? It's
This is actually probably in better condition inside than my 98 Golf convertible.
Which I was just saying to you as well, like I was shocked it was in this condition compared to the outside, because the outside
it's been loved, and again, that is a lot of the history there. Like I say, as I said to Jenna a minute ago, the roof liner is good. They normally snap in half and fall down. The only unoriginal part of the whole car is the radio, which is coming out for a slightly older. I'll put another CD head unit in there. I'd like to find an original one. Also, you will note that because it is the 4+E model, it doesn't have a rev counter. It has a clock. There's some stunning quartz action in there. And if you look at the top of the gear knob, that's what makes it a 4+E, which is a 4-speed with the optional extra, which you actually tick the box in the brochure for,
and the clock.
Economy mode, which is basically
wow.
a tall final drive fifth gear.
All those MPGs.
All those MPGs on the motorway, which you wouldn't ever want to go on because it's about as quick as a tax rebate. So, again, we've got all the mud and the mould in the door shuts, but again, that to a degree has preserved it. Because again, they can go sort of.
I was going to say. Well, I mean, the thing is, like door shuts, even in modern cars, end up pretty grim anyway.
Like people never clean them too. They get a bit of a beating from people getting in and out of them, especially if it's a 5-door, because you know the kids getting in and out of the back, etc., etc.
Yeah.
It's good. You know, there's some speaker grills to replace, which are actually in the boot because it came with a load of spares.
Oh yeah, because they're out at the moment.
Yeah, that's sort of something. Again, it wouldn't have had the option for speakers. It would have had a little cubby hole. The actual only factory speakers in the whole car would have been up there, which live just in there, and they sound horrific. So
we should pop the bonnet as well and see what that's
and this
looking like.
Will lead us round to the windscreen mould there. But again, factory screen. The etch is in there somewhere. It's on the other side. Bring it down.
Is this the main dealer sticker as well?
That is the servicing. It's got nearly full service history. That is the servicing sticker from the guys that looked after it in Peterborough for most of its life. And there we have 1300 cc's of pure mayhem.
So again, forgive me. Petrol, diesel, right? Okay, petrol. 1.3.
So no injection here. No ECUs. No nothing.
None of this turbo crap.
No turbo yet. Yes, I have my way.
Yes.
This is more or less as the factory intended. There's a tiny little trumpet pipe missing from there. Other than that, and the fact that somebody's painted the slam panel orange, I don't know why.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was doing the B-roll. That's a bit random that's orange.
It might have had something to do with the fact that somebody fitted a slightly spurious HID kit, which has been removed.
Yeah, bin that.
With regards, briefly getting back onto the restoration side of things, a lot of what's in here is original. I mean, we've got a beautiful battery tray that's actually still shiny, because over the years, batteries normally leak. They leak and they sit in there, they rip all the paint off, they rip all the under seal off, and you take the battery out and you can see daylight. With this, you can't. Even the clamp is lovely. So silly things like that. I haven't got a wheeled chassis leg up.
Yeah.
You know, it is a really honest original car that someone's obviously at some point gone, oh, let's check under the battery. Let's make sure there's no muck under there.
Yeah, I mean, it's lovely. I mean, the fact that it's all original like this as well, I think it's a big
even
plus.
Silly things like the factory loom. Going to hit your viewers with a really boring piece of Volkswagen information. The loom here, that always looks sort of untidy. One, it actually looks quite tidy here. Here is just, it's factory. That's where it's supposed to sit. It looks good. Everything works in the car. They were actually always originally designed to run through the chassis leg. So when you hear things about wire tucks, that's where that came from, because when these were built, or these and the Mark III's, Germany was sort of like mid-mad recession, and they pretty much sacked the bloke that was designed to run those cables through the chassis legs, and they just laid them on the top, and that's forever where they sat because it was cheaper.
It's got written here, isn't it? Campbell.
Yeah.
Was that when it was done?
So yeah, the last person, this was only sort of 20,000 miles ago, so the last person that put a cam belt on it, and this is what you find in older cars as well. Not original, obviously, the dealer wouldn't have done that, but it's a little bit of the history of the car. It's quite nice, and that's what sort of, again, if you're looking to do something like this yourself and tidy up something for yourself, that's what people look for. While you're focusing on that, these are literally made out of
It sounds really
crisp breads
brittle.
of luck. It's, you know, they are horrific, and I've got to be so careful and basically going to take all this rubber off.
But that's the talent of this, right? Is that anybody can come at this with a jet washer. Yeah. Anyone can go in heavy-handed. It's about that level of care and finesse to do this properly.
You need to, again, under all this muck, there's probably going to be, and because these are all sort of quite nice in here, all these sort of inner wings and stuff, there's going to be what's called transport wax, which is a horrible-looking yellowy wax, which actually you see a lot more of now in newer cars. It's probably still there. So when I clean it, as in get all this sort of dead loose stuff off, there probably will to a degree still be a certain amount of this sort of yellowy wax, my white one, my convertible. That's the same, but it's going to stay. One, it's original. Two, the project's never going to crash. And three, it's helped keep the thing alive. You know, technically, again, this should have been thrown in the bin years ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be epic, and obviously we'll cover the process of Damien restoring this back to, or resurrecting, as you said, resurrecting back to a good condition. So, yeah, we'll probably split it into another video. It's like an intro video for now, and then we can do like a part 2 of once you've done your bits, maybe some midway through bits.
I'll try and take some footage myself and some pictures, but yeah, I need to crack on with it tomorrow, and hopefully by close of play Wednesday you'll see sort of quite a transformation.
Well, all of Damien's links will be in the description, and I'm sure he'll be posting lots of Instagram stories of it as well. So if you want to go and see more while waiting for these videos to go up, make sure you go and drop him a follow. If you've got any projects that you want restoring or resurrecting yourself, make sure you give him a shout. And yeah, if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you for part 2.